Are you currently writing any music at all?
Oh, I'm always writing. Always. I've always joked about it with people, but I literally have like a book to write in every room in my house. So if I'm in the bathroom and I get an idea, I'll write it down. And if I'm in the bedroom, I'll write it down. So I've literally, and my phone is full of. I got to go through it every now and again and get rid of some of the files that I've just written like one-liners or whatever on.
I have the same thing. That's funny. So you do both. You write notes with paper and pen, and then you write on your phone too.
Yeah, I prefer paper and pen. I'm still old school. I like to go and just write it down.
Yeah.
And because I like the whole process of going and reading it. Yeah.
I do the same thing.
But, just that whole process of going back through and reading back through and, because there's a lot of things I forget. There's a lot of, I'm a busy person, so there's a lot of things I do. So there inevitably is a lot of things I forget. So if I end up going back, like, I've got a couple that are 3 or 4 years back of days that I, just kind of skip over in my memory, but I wrote them down.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I got the same problem where if I think about it and I don't write it down, it will not come to fruition at all. It's gone forever. So you're not the only person that's that way. I think a lot of people are that way because there's just overload of information nowadays in our lives in general, which doesn't help. But you gotta write it down. You gotta write that stuff down. So you have to, I like the paper and pen because you have to scratch things off and change some words. Just touching.
And I always remember like the old school, like in some of the album inserts. I always loved the album inserts, and in some of them they would take pictures of the actual like paper that they had written the song on.
Yeah.
I think Nirvana had done that with a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
But that was always my favorite thing, like, because there's people that study handwriting skills, you know what I mean? So they can look at the way a person writes something down and kind of tell you how they, they were mad at that point in time or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So you can kind of tell how it's written down, kind of how the vibe was at that point.
Not only that, but you're creating some memorabilia for yourself too, which is always good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Digital file doesn't do anything for us there. They're not going to put your phone in a museum, Daniel.
You know what I mean? You're not going to go in and find my thumb drive just sitting in a museum. Right. Like Daniel Dant's thumb drive.
That's a good point. Maybe if it had like a special sticker on it or engraving or something like that, I guess. But
right.
So I'm interested in talking about writing and what you listen to when you listen to a song. Like, a lot of people focus in on words. Some people focus in on the music. When you listen to music, what do you focus in on? Everything.
I
maybe that's the answer.
On so much. Yeah, everything really, because for me, I love a song that tells a story. And that's kind of what a lot of my songs do is they tell story.
Yeah, I love that too.
Because, the old school songwriting, what it was a story.
I think about Neil Young and Bob Dylan.
Absolutely.
People like that.
Neil Young, Bob Dylan, some of the other great, some of Johnny Cash. In a world now where a lot of people don't write their own songs, because you hear a lot about ghostwriters and this and that. And if you dig deep, you find out a lot of people aren't writing their own songs.
Right.
But for actual people that write the songs and the songwriters, there's a love of the storytelling, the process of it. Because you had to go through something. You had to experience that in order to really tell that story about that.
Yeah.
And I think that really comes out.
That's what I like too. Each verse continues on the story, almost like an episode, right? And
yeah, absolutely.
At the end, it all connects and can come together. We don't hear that enough anymore. I don't think. I'd like to. I was listening to the.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a world where now, because like back when we were young and we were excited about buying albums, we would go buy that album with the hope of listening to it from front to back.
Right.
A lot of them, you ended up having one or two songs on, but there's a lot throughout the years that you can put on and listen to front to back. A lot of the Led Zeppelins and the, different stuff like that. But, yeah, man, the whole process of the storytelling of it is just amazing.
Well, I was listening to the radio just randomly today. I don't always listen to the radio, but sometimes I'm skimming to see what I can hear. And I ended up coming across Crazy Train by, I think, Black Sabbath is probably who it was. Not Ozzy Osbourne, but Black Sabbath. And one of the lyrics caught my attention, which I thought was really it's always fun to discover things that you've heard a million times, and you're like, oh, that's still cool. That's still a sweet lyric. I don't listen to this song at all anymore, and I'm almost like just completely tired of it. But I still found something in it that I appreciated. Just some of the lyrics, like millions of people living as foes. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. Just for Ozzy Osbourne to say that in a song, I know it's a pop song. I know that they intentionally made that this song to make money. Obviously, it's a pop tune, but I still think that was really, really cool of him to do because of how dark he can be, right?
Right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, how dark you are, kind of like personally.
Yeah, go on. I'm interested in this. Yeah.
There's always there's always an element of, man, why can't people just learn to love one another, or at least like enough of each other to just deal with each other?
Right. Yeah.
And it's, I think as artists, we're kind of sensitive to that. We're just like, man, why can't everybody just get along?
Yeah, I feel that way too. And a lot of people say it's never going to happen, never possible, and maybe that's true. But to continue on to that point just a little bit, if we're all so about ourselves so much as individuals, which we have to be nowadays, why can't an empathetic side of us say, if we can put ourselves in other people's shoes, then we would want them to feel the same way that we would do, right? As in the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. I think that's the number one thing that we always have to come back to, and so that's how I feel about it, and I get frustrated as hell trying to tell people and try to go there. But again, it always goes back to how can we be positive? How can we be more positive about all this stuff going on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just and my whole opinion on it is, if you just I live every day, it's as transparent.
Yeah.
I love everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
even the people that I started to get angry with, or told myself that I disliked them. I know that in my heart there's always something to like in people, and it's also based on what they were going through at that time. People are different. Yeah, it's gotta think outside the box a little bit there, right? I mean, we're all playing certain roles, and step out of those roles for a minute and look at the bigger picture. There's another lyric real quick that I was just coming up with, I remember from a Michael Jackson song, that goes along with what Ozzy Osbourne was saying. And he says, and I think the song Bad, if you want to make the world a better place, if you don't like what I'm saying, then won't you slap my face? Which I think is a hilarious lyric. But he was saying the same thing that Ozzy Osbourne was saying.
Right.
Pop music is, I think, back in the 90s, and I guess Black Sabbath was further back. But I like the pop music that makes those messages happen. like the love for all and making the world a better place. So that's
But
what my music is like that.
As you just said, that comparing Black Sabbath with and Michael Jackson, yeah, there was such a span, but it's the message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to hide it. You got to put it in there somewhere. And they do it so tastefully. It's not the whole song. It's just like one line in a verse that they throw in.
Right.
And I think it's super catchy, super cool to do. Think about doing it, man. Put it in your songs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I like your stuff. There's one song that you do that I think is super catchy. It's not coming to me right now. Probably because I have Michael Jackson and Ozzy Osbourne going on in my head. But,
right, yeah.
Yeah. Post some of your stuff, man, and then I'll share it.
Oh, definitely. I'm always posting something.
Cool. Well, hey, Daniel, it was good talking to you. This is Daniel Dant, and you have a good week and keep trucking, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Appreciate you, Jeff.
No problem. See you.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.